Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Motorcycle Rescuer, and this is Motorcycle Rescuer. So yes, welcome back. My aim is to take this for an MOT today. If it starts up and everything seems to be working, we'll take it for an MOT and we'll see how it does. The levers are bent on this. It's not necessarily a fail, it might be a minor. You can potentially straighten them with a scaffold bar or something, heat them up a bit, straighten them, but they're likely to snap. That's not a fail, guys. A fail would be if the ball was snapped off. You'd have to either make a new one or buy a new lever. The only reason I haven't bought new levers for this bike is because I can't find the right shape ones. I'm finding parts difficult to find on this, and it's weird. I don't know if it was only made for a couple of years. I think it was 2010 to 2012 or something, including like the Speedo cable. That's the second cable I'm trying now. This one has a screw-on bottom, which is what that is. It's a screw-on bottom, but it has a plug-in top like that. And I won't know until I'm up in there. Now guys, for your MOT questions, you do not need a working Speedo to pass MOT. Okay, you don't need a working Speedo to pass MOT. When they check your brakes, they're going to pull the lever and they're going to make sure it doesn't hit the handle. That's how you know they're adjusted well. They'll check your pads, make sure they're thick enough. They check your tyre pressures. They check your suspension. Give them a wipe, guys, it doesn't hurt. Give them a wipe before you go. But obviously if they're leaking, get them fixed. They're going to check the number plate size, the number plate light, which is here. You need to have a rear reflector. Now lots of these have all built in, but this one's all a bit different. This one has the light under here, which works. The reflector's up there, which is fine. But you can, if it didn't have any of that, you just buy one of them little round sticky on reflectors. They're £1, and you stick it on there. They're going to check your indicators. They need to work. They need to flash not too fast. But don't worry too much about what too fast is. It would have to be ridiculous for them to fail it. Your seat needs to lock. If your seat doesn't have a functioning lock, you are allowed to use a bungee cord to strap it down. Buy a bungee cord from Poundland, put the cord over, strap it down. So at the moment, let's imagine the most bodged bike you've got out there. Now, I don't want to encourage people being unsafe, but I know how frustrating it is when you need to get your MOT done and you know that you're waiting on a couple of parts that you're going to change. So that's why I talk through these bits. At the moment, a really dodgy bike will have tyres that are low, so we'll pump them up. The seat doesn't lock, so we'll put a bungee cord around. We'll give our forks a wipe just beforehand, but if they're stupidly leaking, then that's unsafe. So, but if they're fine like this, give them a quick wipe just to make it easier on the examiner. Then we're checking high beam, low beam, indicators, horn. Make sure the shocks actually do bounce. I took a bike to the MOT once. Front shocks did not bounce at all. And I didn't even realise, not even on the journey. Didn't bounce at all. So I had to buy a new pair. Check the rear shocks are bouncy, that's all. They're not stupidly bouncy. And that's kind of it, guys. There's nothing more really to worry about. So it is the basics. Let's fire this thing up. Let's make sure it starts. And it's a good start. This bike does... Oh, look, guys. Found something straight away. Look. No bolt on that shock. That could have been dangerous. That would have been dangerous on a single shock arm. Let me get a bolt on that. But while we're messing around, let's see the horn. Great, has a horn. Left indicator. Good. Lovely. Let's go right indicator. Good. Lovely. Let's go main light, which is there. and then high beam, which is there, good, and they're meant to switch over on this bike. And then we've got passing light, which is just pressing down. So all of that stuff's fine. Now we need to look at the rear light, which I can't see, but you can. So rear light there, I'm going to press the front brake, that should darken up, or brighten up even. Good, I'm going to press the rear brake, that should come on. I can't see, I don't know if you can either. Oh, so annoying. If you weren't holding a camera, guys, what you do is you put your hand down there, and you press the brake lever, and it will shine on your hands. That's how you can tell. At the moment though, I do need to see if that's working and coming on, and I don't think it is. I think I messed with that last time, so I'll need to double check that. Sometimes they just kind of get stuck in a bit. I can see it in there. So it might be that we need to just clean that up a bit more. These are the kind of things. Did that come on there? No, so the rear brake light isn't working. These are the kind of things on MOT day that just drive you nuts, guys. Absolutely drive you nuts when you check the week before and it was all working. But this ain't bad. So far, the bike's starting. It's idling, it sounds great, it's got fuel in it. It needs one bolt on the rear shock, which I'm going to throw on now. And then we need to have a quick look at the rear brake light, because we don't want to mess around. We don't want it being intermittent and then we go to the MOT and it works a little bit and it doesn't. That will drive you nuts. So guys, the switch is here. Look, I've pulled it off. This one's a typical sticky switch. So it's stuck closed or it's stuck open. This is a typical fix for WD-40. I'm going to get some WD-40, I'm going to spray it down. That's going to solve this problem. Let's just double check that this switch is working. Here it is. You're going to see me pressing it on and off. And the light should be coming on and off. Yeah, there you go. But it is sticking. Look, press it down and it stays down. And that's not ideal. So WD-40, that's going to sort that out. I'm going to chuck that straight back on. And then we're good. While I'm here, let me see what connection we have for the Speedo cable. Not for MOT, but for when I come back later. I can't see. Alright, sort that out later. Alright, some WD-40, and that's going to solve that problem easily. Okay, so before we shoot off, let's just once again check. You can see I put a bolt on there. That was my bad for not doing that originally. Let's double check that rear brake, it's here. Lovely, front one's fine. This is good to go for MOT and I expect it to pass at this stage. Time will tell. So, Typhoon's in for MOT. Ride-wise, a bit laggy on the bottom end on the first third, but great on the top end, so definitely needs a carb clean. I don't think I've done that yet on that bike, because I just switched the carbs. I thought the carb was wrecked. So carb clean, that's no problem at all. Front brake was a bit loose, not loose, it didn't bite very well, but I held it down a little bit to warm it up, wear it in, clean anything on the disc that needs cleaning, and then it worked absolutely fine. So it got me here, and when I got here I checked all the brake lights and stuff again, and that was all good. So at the moment it looks okay. I wouldn't be comfortable riding it far because of the first third being quite hesitant. Not to the point where it stalls though, which is not bad. It's usable, but it's boggy on the first third. So the plan is, at some point in the next few weeks, if it passes MOT now, that's beautiful. At some point in the next few weeks, carb clean, and wait for the logbook, set it at pretty much full price. So fingers crossed it passed this MOT. So there you go, guys. I was just topping up with fuel, and I was thinking this isn't quite a hero bike yet. And then I was thinking, hang on a minute, this bike's gone from being on its arse, it was literally laying down sideways in a garden. It had no keys, no logbook, no number plate, no MOT. It was in terrible state, to passing its MOT. I just want to check on advisories. I just kind of grabbed it and went this time. I'd be surprised if there was none, but I am my biggest critic. Nice. Hang on. No advisories, guys. That's unbelievable. That shows you that it's really worth taking the time to do pre-MOT checks. Because I wouldn't have realised, would I, that the rear light, brake light wasn't working, because last week I got it working. At this stage, I'm going to keep it advertised for $750 with a year's MOT. But I think I'm going to wait a week. Ideally it sells without the logbook for $750, because then someone gets a real bargain, and then all they have to do is have it for 2 months, and then they'll get a logbook, you know, and they can use it after a week or two. Once the processing starts, you can call up the DVLA and you can tax it. Otherwise, if I apply for the logbook, then all adverts are coming down, and I'll be doing bits and pieces over the time. So for example, I will get new levers, make sure they're straight, or I'll straighten them, whatever works best for me. And just kind of clean it up a bit here and there. I haven't wanted to, because I don't know, I just didn't really get into this one too much, did I? Because it's sat over there for so long, I thought it was dead, and I just considered it to be gone. But otherwise, brilliant bike. What am I next? What's next? I think I should show you the new bike, shouldn't I? It's a bit unfair otherwise if I don't, because I showed you just the back of it. Let's go and have a little look, and we'll have a chat about what the plan is. Okay, I can't really get much done today, guys, because the weather's very up and down. It's meant to pour down. But I'll tell you one thing I'm planning on doing, and I'll use this bike to explain. So this is, of course, a Kawasaki ER5. This is a running, riding Kawasaki ER5, cooling, etc, etc. And then of course I've got Matt's one over there that's pristine but not running and riding. So I bought this one off Alex, like I explained the other day. I mean it's not in a good state, but I just wasn't interested. I'm not fussed at all about what state it's in, because I've got everything I need there. Now I was going to just automatically transfer the paintwork and good parts, handlebars, levers, this, that, anything polished from that to this. That's what my initial plan was, including the exhaust. However, I now think that I should try the CDI from this on there. I think that should be step one. Try the CDI from this on there. See if that solves the spark problem, because if it does, that's a big save. And then I know I can work on this over time. It needs a CDI. They're kind of 120 quid, but it's very hit or miss whether that will work or not. So step one, try this CDI on there, see if we get spark back. How amazing would that be if that happened, and then that bike is ready to go properly for sale. We can get Nat his sale money for it, and then we have a new project. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I don't think it's going to be a CDI issue, but we have to give it a shot. If that fails, no issue. We've got a frame and engine that's running here. We strip this down. We strip that down. We put the nice stuff on here, including the wheels. They're all painted, polished, and everything, including the wheels. Everything nice from there comes across to here, and everything from here goes in a pile, and we sell parts. Because I don't want to have a bike that doesn't spark at all kicking about. So that's the key here. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm curious. I'm curious as to what you think. I mean, if that had battery, to be fair, this has battery. Maybe I can run some leads across maybe I can check straight away as to whether the CDI is the issue on either, on that. So let me let me find the keys to start with. I mean, look at the condition this is in. It's pretty bad, but that's simple stuff. That's a handlebar that can be polished up. Everything else can be cleaned. So if this was ever to be a second riding bike, I would look forward to doing it actually, but I don't think it will be. Right, I've got the key. Let's have a little look at this thing. Whoa, let me angle you. Let's just make sure it fires up. Let's have a look at the oil. The oil looks very, very dark or empty. It's very dark, this oil. Let's rattle the bike a bit. Let's see what's going on. It's dark and high, and hopefully it hasn't got that issue where it has the fuel in it. Let's fire this thing up. Let's just see the basis of what we're working with. Of course, if I end up using this engine and frame, I will be servicing it, fresh oil, fresh filters and everything else. But let's just hear this one as it sits. At first glance, engine sounds fine, choke doesn't work. Alex did mention that. That's fine, I'll have a look at that at the right time. Sounds good and normal. Exhaust is rough, but of course I've got a really nice one over there. Blah 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 blah. Okay, we're looking okay. Bit smoky on startup, but that's okay. That's fairly normal. Oh, I think that's a good start. I think that's a good start. Yeah, it was slightly overfilled. You can see the oil level now running slightly overfilled. Otherwise, sounds okay. It's really hard to hear engines on cameras. They pick up some weird sounds. Some engines that are sounding great here sound terrible on camera, and some that are sounding terrible on camera sound great, and vice versa, the other way around, I guess. But this sounds fine. Just looking at, we should check the gearbox. Let's see if we can get it in gear and hope the rear wheel don't hit the floor. So it's kind of okay really. It's all a bit rattly and so on, but it's fine. And also once I put my parts across, it'll be great. But saying that, if the CDI happens to bring back spark, my god, would that be amazing. Let's do a quick switch. New CDI, kinda. Potentially broken CDI. What will be interesting is putting that on there. Shall I do that first, guys? Shall I put the one I think is faulty on there and see if it starts? I bet it does start. I've got a feeling it's not a CDI issue. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that on there first, leave that one loose, see if that starts. If it doesn't, then we might be onto something. I mean, look, if I remind you guys of how clean this bike is, it's got Nat's paint job, all of the polishing work. Look, the exhaust is stainless top to bottom. All of the front shocks are great. It's stunning. It needs to be done, dusted and sold because it's worth it. Right, let me do that. I'm going to take that one and put it on there and see if that starts, but I think it will. So that CDI in here, technically the bike shouldn't start. Not a CDI issue. I am going to try that one over there out of curiosity, but it's not a CDI issue. It's nice to rule that out. You know, the other thing it could be is an ignition issue still. So trying this ignition on there wouldn't hurt. I'll chuck that CDI back on because it's obviously not a CDI related issue. How easy are these ignitions to get on and off? Are they simple bolts or are they round screws? What are they? I can't see. Might be worth somehow bridging all the wires, putting the bikes together, bridging all the wires, and then seeing if this ignition changes that for spark. Could solve the issue. I don't know how easy that is. Let me, what I think I'll do is I'll pop the tank off this, probably, definitely, and I think, yeah, transfer, well, I'm in two minds. Where does the ignition go to on here? Is it, I think it's this green one. If I can put the bikes close enough together, I'll be able to just, no, it's not the green one. So where's the ignition go? It goes down into there first, into the headlight, and then it'll come back here somewhere. I think it's this white one. So we've got enough space to be able to unravel that and move it across. But let's check that it is that one first before we do anything else.